Welcome. I'm so glad you could join me today. I'm here to teach you all about trees. A tree is a woody plant with one erect perennial stem, a crown of foliage, and a mature height of at least 13 feet. It contains billions of cells, breathes carbon dioxide, and sustains itself through a process called photosynthesis. What do you mean? I don't see any cells here, and I certainly don't see any breathing going on. I'm afraid you have it all wrong. A tree is an expression of the ethical essence of nature. See how it stands proud and autonomous? Notice how its many branches partake equally in the nourishment that comes from the shared trunk, the tree of justice, and bear witness to the beneficence it brings to the birds that call it home, and the lack of maleficence. I mean, when was the last time you saw a tree do something mean? Hi guys, please forgive my friends here. They're a little confused. You see, they don't understand that a tree, in fact the entire universe, can be understood in both scientific and ethical terms. Science and ethics are not mutually exclusive. They're simply two sides of the same coin. They might seem completely different, but hey, sometimes you'd swear light is a wave, and sometimes you'd say it's a particle. Same deal. I know this because I took your scientific ethics course this year. What is scientific ethics and what did I learn? Well, one thing to think about is that science and ethics both teach us about the workings of the universe. Science tells us how and ethics tells us why. Oh, and you're going to love this. We learned this really helpful framework for analyzing the ethics of scientific quandary. You just ask yourself about the implications of a particular decision or action in 5 dimensions. First, do the people affected by the decision or action have the right to make their own decisions about it? In scientific ethics, we call that autonomy. Second, is the outcome fair? Does it deliver justice? In the 3rd dimension, beneficence, asks if the welfare of others is increased. The 4th, maleficence, asks if we avoid harming others. And the 5th, respect, asks us if we are respecting the people and the objects around us. Pretty neat, right? And I have to tell you, another thing the course did was remind me about the importance of my own autonomy. Asking us for input about our grade was a great reminder that we're all the captains of our own ship. And ownership of your life is so important. I mean, as Warren Buffett once said, when was the last time you saw someone washing a rental car? We also looked at the theories of some famous ethicists. Just between the 3 of us, some of it kind of raised an eyebrow. For example, Kant says that the things we do are either right or wrong, and that we have an absolute obligation to do the right one. He calls that the categorical imperative. That means if a murderer asks you to tell them where someone is hiding so they can kill them, you have to do it because lying is wrong. Don't know about that. I did like the Tao, which says we should live lives of humility, non-judgment, generosity, and peace. Sign me up. I think my favorite, though, was John Stuart Mill, one of the founders of utilitarianism, who basically says that we should do whatever brings the most good to the world and the least bad. Hard to argue with that one. And speaking of favorites, my favorite assignment, and the paper I was most proud of, was the policy memo. I was able to dig deep into the topic of cognitive enhancing drugs to further my understanding about the science around them, and also write passionately about how we can enjoy great science and fairness at the same time. And I got a response back from the president of Duke. How cool is that? Before starting this journey, I didn't really have the best understanding of what ethics was. However, over the past 6 months, I've concluded that it's something like this. Scientific ethics is a way to deal with the duality of nature. Try on this for size. Darkness and light, opposites, right? And yet, without darkness, the concept of light is meaningless, and without darkness, there's no light. Same with heat and cold, yin and yang, life and death. Here's my point. Without the science of atoms, molecules, and organisms, without physical existence, ethics has no meaning. Similarly, it's the ethical framework of respect, justice, beneficence, non-maleficence, and autonomy that gives meaning to physical reality. Science is fundamentally about objective facts, thinking critically about what we are and what we can do. Ethics is fundamentally about subjective opinions, acting ethically to define who we are and what we should do.
Well, thank you for listening. I'd like to leave you with a final thought about my friend, the tree, and some of the things it makes me think about. First, the science. I think about all the scholarship that's gone into understanding how this miracle works. From the rigid cells that give it strength, to the chloroplasts that make its energy. And I think about the strength and integrity of this trunk, which symbolizes honor. And last, I think about how all these branches, and soon their leaves, live together in peace and harmony. Kindness. It's a lot like BB&N. And BB&N is a lot like a tree, sending its seeds out into the world to live lives of principled engagement. Thank you for a wonderful experience in this course.